Hi friends, my name is Chetan Kumar. I am working as a physical design engineer in Aptamatra Consultancy. Today I am going to talk about EMI, that is electromagnetic induction. To understand that this concept, let's take a example or experiment we can say. Uh, let's take an wind an insulated copper wire uh, to a paper or a wooden cylinder so as to form a coil in the form of solenoid. Connect the two ends of the wire to the galvanometer uh, and place a magnet close to that solenoid. So that's like 1 minute. Let's take this is a paper cylinder or a wooden cylinder. We have to wind the electric uh, copper wire to this cylinder and connect the two ends to the galvanometer. So let's take some cases. First case is when the magnet is stationary. So when the magnet is not moving, this here in the galvanometer the value is 0 because there is no uh, current induced in it or there is no magnetic field. Let's take a second case. When the north pole is stationary, the magnet has two poles, south and north. Here let's take south pole towards the coil and north pole towards the coil and south pole against the coil. So when this magnet is stationary, the value will be 0, but when we move the north pole towards the solenoid, the reading in the galvanometer reflect towards the right. So so we can see that there is a electric field and current flowing through in it. So when there is a movement, electric field is produced and the current is induced. So this is the second case. Third case is when there is no motion of magnet. Again, the galvanometer shows 0 reading when the motion of the magnet is stopped. This provides that as long as the magnet is in motion, the current flows in the solenoid. So let's take the magnet is moving towards the solenoid and the electric field is produced and the current is induced. The galvanometer shows some values, and when we stop that motion, it shows 0 value. So we can say that when there is a motion of magnet, the current is flowing. So let's take case number 4, when the magnet is moved away. So here the magnet is slowly moved away from the solenoid. It's now the galvanometer reflect towards the left. So we can see that it when the magnet is moved away from the solenoid, the galvanometer shows some values but in the opposite direction. So when the magnet is moved away with a great velocity, the reflection increases. So if we slowly take the magnet away, it shows some values, but if we increase the velocity of the magnet motion, the deflection will be more. So sixth case is when the polarity of the magnet is reversed. Here we can see that. Now let's take south pole towards the solenoid and the north pole against the solenoid. Here in this case, when we move the magnet towards the solenoid, the galvanometer reflects towards the left. So when we take away the magnet, it will reflect towards the right. So here we can see that when the poles are reversed, the current flows in the opposite direction. That is when suppose let's take when we take north pole towards the magnet, let's say it will flow from left to right, and when we reverse the poles, it will flow from right to left. Faraday observed this and made some laws. Faraday observed that when there is a current flows, when current flows in the coil only when there is a motion, relative motion between the coil and the magnet. The direction of the deflection is reversed if direction of the motion is reversed. So there are some factors leading to increased current in coil. One is by using a strong magnet. If you use a very strong magnet, the current is increased. And second point is increase the motion of the magnet. If we take the magnet very fast towards the solenoid, the current will be more, and increase the area or the number of turns of the coil. So we can see that if we increase the area of the solenoid or the increase the number of the coils, we can it will lead to increase in the current. So based on this, Faraday made two laws. First law is whenever a conductor is placed in an electric field, an electromotive force is induced. If the conductor circuit is closed and a current induced, which is called as induced current. And second law states that the induced EMF in a coil is equal to the rate of change of flux linkage, that is epsilon equal to minus n into delta phi by delta t. Epsilon is the electromagnetic force, phi is the magnetic flux, and n is the number of the turns. Here negative sign indicates the flow of induced direction of induced EMF. Next, let's see Fleming's law. He gave two rules to determine the direction of the motion or the motion of the direction of the motor or the direction of the induced current. So he gave two laws, which is right hand rule and left hand rule. Left hand rule is for the electric motors, and right hand rule for the generators. Here the thumb represents the motion, that is force, and forefinger represents the magnetic field, and middle finger represents the direction of the induced current. So it's like this. We can see that it should be perpendicular. This represents the motion of the force. So this represents the magnetic field, and the middle finger represents the direction of the induced current. Same way for the left hand rule also, that properties remains the same, but it's for the generators. Next is Lenz's law. It states that the direction of the induced EMF is such that it always tends to opposite the cause which produces it. So we can see that it obeys Newton's third law of motion, which is every action has equal and opposite reaction. It also obeys the law of conservation of energy. It states that energy neither can be created or destroyed, nor destroyed. The sum of the all the energies in the region is constant. And Lenz's law is also based on Faraday's law of induction. It states that EMF generated by a change in magnetic flux, according to Faraday's law, the polarity of the induced EMF is such that it produces a current whose magnetic field opposes the change which produces it. Thank you.